Many of the people there say they've waited a long time for the day when Bundy would die. Kerry Sanders takes a look at how they're reacting.
11 years ago, Kimberly Diane Leach was a student here. 11 years ago, she was like any other kid, until Ted Bundy picked her from a crowd, abducting her, raping her, killing her. Today, the legacy of 12-year-old Kimberly Leach's death remains.
I hope he gets what he deserves in the morning, because Lake City has been in fear long enough. That's true. That's true. He's been making a fool out of the system and everything, and outsmarting the attorneys and, you know, and everything. And that's why I said my son had a detention today, and I was worried, even though it's been so long ago.
In this small town, security guards today patrol the campus. Patrols started shortly after Kimberly Leach died. While these students were in diapers when Kim was killed, Bundy is very much a part of the lesson of growing up in Lake City. He's very much a part of living in Lake City. Melinda Moses was one of Kimberly Leach's teachers.
Things have changed. You know, Lake City used to be a town where you didn't lock your doors and you taught your children to speak to everybody, and it's not that way anymore.
They've been talking about Bundy's upcoming execution.
It's been pretty well made evident that he is due what he's to get, according to Scripture and according to the laws of our land.
Folks here have adopted the attitude they'll believe it when they see it. And when Bundy is electrocuted, it will end this small town's anguish. In Lake City, Florida, I'm Kerry Sanders reporting.
Of course, Suzanne Gatto will be back to tell us more about how the people in Lake City have reacted today on 17 News Live at noon. And there's been a lot of publicity, and Bundy is not the only one caught up in this death watch.
You know what's going on up in Stark tomorrow? What's scheduled to happen up in Stark?
Bundy's supposed to be executed.
Bundy?
Yeah. You know about that case?
Yeah, I sure do.
Power 95, WAPE, wake up with Hoyle and Fizz tomorrow morning and help us put the lights out on Ted Bundy. Well, if you have any opinion on that or you'd like to call me on the power lines, you can do so now.
Even local radio stations are jumping on the Bundy bandwagon, asking their callers for their opinions and rolling with excitement for a pending execution.
Normally, it's kind of out of character for the Big Ape to do something that could be considered in poor taste, but we're just reflecting what the listeners are telling us on the phones.
Johnson says 99% of the callers are in support of frying Bundy tomorrow. One excited listener even brought this homemade Bundy doll in just for the occasion. Tomorrow, WAPE plans to ask listeners to conserve power so there'll be enough energy to turn the switch. In Tallahassee, another radio station is playing a new hit, a song of Bundy's life to the tune Bye Bye Miss America Pie.
So bye bye Ted Bundy, bye bye. Your appeals have run out and now you're going to fry.
But the question is, how is Ted Bundy reacting to all this newfounded publicity? Could it be just what the serial killer ordered?
One thing which seemed to be singularly impressive about Mr. Bundy was a certain kind of P.T. Barnum flair that he had. He seemed to enjoy being in the spotlight, probably adapts well to the business of being in the center of things.
And if that's true, it appears Bundy isn't the only one enjoying the publicity. Miller says situations like the scheduled execution stimulate a primitive emotion in all of us.
Well, I think he's a mass murderer, and I'm very delighted that they're going to execute him tomorrow, hopefully.
I do know about Ted Bundy, and all I can say is, yay, it's way past due.
I'm very happy.
I'm Suzanne Gatto with photographer Randy Sell, 17 News.
Denial, if you will, shortly after midnight, and according to prison officials, he was visibly shaken and somewhat subdued. He spent from 1 to 5 this morning with a minister praying in his cell. He has refused the traditional breakfast of steak and eggs this morning. Now, last night, his next to last visitor was Dr. James Dobson from California. Dr. Dobson conducted what is believed to be the last interview with Ted Bundy.
He said, I accept the full responsibility for it.
So she can't believe he murdered dozens of women. Louise Bundy didn't want to show her face, but she did agree to talk about her son.
If he killed all those lovely young women, we have several beautiful daughters of our own. We know how we would feel. And it's a terrible thing. And he wasn't raised that way. He was raised in a good, loving, caring family. Dang it. You know, we still love and care for him, but we want to know what caused this.
Of course, a lot of folks have been trying to figure out the same thing. But whatever caused it, The final chapter in Ted Bundy's life may end in the Florida electric chair at 7 o'clock this morning. We will be there live, and of course, we will keep you updated.
Ted Bundy's date with death is still on. Last night, the U.S. Supreme Court denied 3 last-minute appeals to save the convicted serial killer from Florida's electric chair. He is scheduled to die at the top of the hour just 30 minutes from now.
Since 1 o'clock this morning, he has been in the company of a clergyman. We are here along with dozens of other news media and literally hundreds of spectators that continue to file in at this hour to witness, or rather just to be here for this execution. We talked with some of those people who have come here, and they say they have no personal reasons for being here. They support the death penalty and are just here to witness this execution. The execution, of course, is for the 1978 slaying of Kimberly Leach, a 12-year-old schoolgirl from Lake City. Yesterday, Dr. James Dobbins, California radio broadcaster, taped an hour-long interview with Ted Bundy.
I did not ask him how many murders that he had committed, but I did say in the beginning, for the record, do you admit that you have killed many women and children? And he said, yes, I admit that. I am a murderer, or something to that effect. That's not a direct quote, but we began at that point.
Barring any last-minute stay, which there appears to be none, just minutes before the scheduled execution, Ted Bundy will go to the Florida State electric chair at 7 o'clock, becoming the 20th person since the death penalty was reinstated in Florida a decade ago to go to the electric chair. Nancy?
Mike, you mentioned that he is in with a clergyman. Any family, friends, anybody like that come to see Ted Bundy today?
Last night, Ted Bundy was scheduled to meet with an attorney friend of his and his wife and another friend, but in the 5 hours just before his scheduled execution, there were no scheduled visits from any friends.
Okay, can you see activity from where you are across the way? I know you have to stand pretty far away from the prison, but can you see anything going on out there?
I haven't noticed any activity here from the news media site where we are. They escorted the dozen or so news media that will witness this execution, along with a dozen private citizens and half a dozen of corrections department employees.
Okay, Mike, of course, we'll hear more from you at the top of the hour, obviously, where Ted Bundy is scheduled to die in just a little while at 6:52. Please stay with us. Convicted serial killer Ted Bundy is scheduled to die at 7 o'clock, which is less than 5 minutes from now.
A short while ago, the generators here at the Florida State Prison were fired up in anticipation of that execution. The lights also outside the prison were turned off for a short period of time. As I noted earlier, literally hundreds of spectators have come here to witness this execution, or rather just to be here across the street with us for this execution. Also note that the governor's office has, over the past week, received hundreds of calls and letters of people in support of this execution, and the governor all along has said that there are no deals at this point to be made with Ted Bundy, scheduled to die in the Florida electric chair a matter of minutes away. The line of cars looking down there just stretches. You just can't see the end of it. The people have piled in here where we are and over in an area that was set aside for them. We talked to some of them earlier. They've come from all over the state of Florida. They're carrying signs. They are selling paraphernalia.
Leading our news, the scheduled execution of serial killer Ted Bundy. Bruce Hall is waiting for word outside the state prison in Stark, Florida, and he joins us now. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Charlie. It appears that Ted Bundy only has a few more moments to live. At this time, it is believed there are no more appeals pending, and he has been just strapped into the electric chair. According to the schedule that we think is going to be operating on this morning, Bundy will be given the opportunity to make a last statement, which should be occurring about 2 minutes after the hour, about now. It is expected that statement could go from 5 to 7 minutes. After that, the warden will turn and make a call to Florida Governor Bob Martinez. The governor will give the word to proceed with the execution, and at that time, they will go ahead with the execution, 2,000 volts of electricity in the electric chair.